What up? What up? What up? How are y'all doing? I'm doing great as usual. I'm getting a little nervous though. I'm getting a little nervous. Why haven't we seen the AJ Fury fight announced? What's going on? What is going on? Now, earlier today, I was going through my YouTube channels, subscriptions, like I normally do. And I came across an interview AJ Anthony Joshua did February 25th. And it's interesting because like him, like Bob Arum, like Eddie Hearn, like Frank Warren, he sounded very positive. And like I said on the Boxing Voice last week, I forget what day I was on the Boxing Voice, but whatever day that was, I told everybody on the Boxing Voice that I think AJ and Tyson Fury would announce the fight after the Canelo fight. Because everybody knows when Canelo fights in America, it's a big thing, and you don't want to try to overshadow it. It just doesn't work for promoters and other fighters. So I thought that with the week after Canelo being a down period, I thought that it was a perfect time to announce the fight. For weeks we've been hearing, talks are going good. Everything's fine. We're working out all the BS. So it seems like everything's going in the right direction. But, like myself, I'm assuming that you, as well as all other boxing fans, want to see the announcement. We just need to see the announcement. That's all. Even if you don't have a date or if you don't have a venue, at least do a press conference or an interview. You guys all get together and you say, all right, we're going to announce today that at least we signed the contracts. At least do that for the boxing fans, even if you don't have a venue. Even though people will still hate on that, at least come out and be like, yep, the contracts are signed, and we are just waiting on a venue. Now, the reason why I've made this video is because for the longest time, everybody thought that this fight was going to the Middle East. Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, Bob Arum, they all said, we're going to go where the most money is. So we assume that means the Middle East. Anthony Joshua fought Andy Ruiz in the Middle East. Daria, I don't know how you pronounce it, but they had a fight there, and both fighters got paid very well. So we're just assuming that it's going to the Middle East. But now in America, for all the UK boxing fans out there, America is starting to open up. Now, in America, every state is different. Where I'm from, Maine, we're not 100% opened up yet. We still got to wear the masks. We got to do all that social distancing. We got to do all that stuff. But then, as you know, in the state of Texas, which is a very conservative state, they're opening up. Florida, the same with them. They're opening up. But not only are they opening up, the state of Texas has come out and said, we are opening up completely. No more coronavirus restrictions. That means no more masks, no more social distancing. It's up to each individual stadium or arena if they want to allow full capacity or not. I'm assuming if the states open up, then the owners of these stadiums and arenas will want to open up to full capacity to maximize their profits. Now, I'm only saying this because we have heard Bob Arum. I haven't heard Eddie Hearn say this, but I've heard Bob Arum say this. And in this interview that I got locked and loaded with Anthony Joshua, they keep bringing up the possibility of either Vegas or Wembley. And like I'm assuming like all you guys, I was just assuming, go grab that $100 million from the Middle East. Make as much money as you can. And for a while we heard, yep, we're going to go to the Middle East. We're going to get the most money we can on the first fight. And then maybe after everything opens up, we'll come back to Wembley and do the fight there, the rematch. Well, like I said, I got locked and loaded in an interview with Anthony Joshua from February 25th. I don't know the radio station or the host, but for some reason it just popped up in my suggestions. So if we get a couple more people, I'm going to play that interview for you, but it's basically, it shows Anthony Joshua holding out hope that the UK is going to open up, and they're going to open up fully. Now, even if the UK opens up fully, just like the state of Texas and the United States, are the citizens going to feel comfortable enough to go and pack 80, 90, 100,000 into Wembley for a Fury and Anthony Joshua fight? Are they going to do it? I know over here in the United States, because it's such a bigger country than the UK, that I think we could pack a huge stadium in Texas. Matter of fact, I think that's where Mikey Garcia and Manny Pacquiao is going to be hosted if that fight happens. Which I can't wait on that announcement either. I hope that fight happens. But, like I said, it seems like Bob Arum and Anthony Joshua are kind of holding out hope to have the fight in Wembley. And you know what? As a boxing fan from the United States, who really doesn't have a horse in the race, but I love both guys. I love Anthony Joshua. I love Fury. They both can fight their ass off. I think even if you are an Anthony Joshua or a Tyson Fury hater, and they said that fight was going to happen, you have to be really a low-down piece of shit to say, no, that fight shouldn't happen in the UK. That fight should happen in one place and one place only, and that's Wembley. Especially if the fight's going to happen at the end of June. We're whipping in the summer, baby. Open roof. No problem. No problem. That's where I want the fight. Wembley. 90,000 Brits screaming. I don't give a shit if I have to watch it at 5 p.m. in the United States. I don't give a shit. I don't. Put it on at fucking 1 p.m. in the United States. I don't give a shit. That fight belongs in Wembley. So is that what the holdup is? Are we waiting? According to reports, is that the UK is going to open up at the end of May. This fight is reportedly happening at the end of June. So if the UK opens up at the end of May and Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are set to fight at the end of June, that gives the UK a whole month to prepare, to sort everything out. The protocols, if they're going to have any, the social distancing. I don't know how they would do it. But that would give Eddie Hearn, Top Rank, Matchroom, Queensberry, BT, Sky, DAZN, whoever's involved in the fight, that would give them a month. If the UK opens at the end of May and AJ and Fury fights at the end of June, gives you guys a month to figure out all the logistics. Take care of it. But I would rather see that fight in Wembley. But as you scroll the internet, every day, every minute, every hour that this fight does not get announced, we have the haters crawling out of the woodwork. And everybody out there knows the haters that I'm talking about. We're talking about the Eddie Hearn haters. We're talking about the Tyson Fury haters. We're talking about the Matchroom haters. You might as well just go ahead and say it. We're talking about the UK haters. And those people, of course, they are known as the LDBC. They're not fans. They want to bring the sport of boxing down. And the reason they want to do that is because their man lost. And another reason why they want to do that is because, like I believe, Tyson Fury tried to fulfill that contract and fight Wilder a third time, but the contract expired, and they can't wrap their heads around it. But if you go and scroll through their channels, and like me, I'm a boxing fan, I watch all of them. I watch all channels, whether I agree with them, whether I don't agree with them. If I don't agree with them, sometimes they have a person in the sport of boxing on and they interview them, and that's good enough for me. Sometimes I tune in just to laugh. Sometimes I tune in to share content with my friends so they can laugh. But nonetheless, I tune in. I'm a fan of boxing. I want to hear everybody's point of view, no matter how ridiculous it is. But what they're saying that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua cannot be announced because Tyson Fury is still in a court battle with Deontay Wilder. Now, on the surface, you might be able to convince yourself that that's what's going on, but when you look deeper into it, you got Bob Arum with all of Top Rank's lawyers. You got Queensberry Promotions with all of their lawyers. You got MTK Global with all of their lawyers. I'm assuming that Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua and 258 Management are familiar with that situation with all their lawyers. And do you really think if all those lawyers and all those teams looked into Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder's situation, if they all thought that Wilder had a case, that they would be going ahead and trying to schedule this fight? Me personally, I don't think so. I really don't. So in my mind, there is no court case. What up, Richard? Richard Midson. He says, so on the 18th of May is when the UK opens up, but that does not depend upon people following the rules that stand now. The holdup is I think they want to push the fight back till July, so Wembley could be the venue. Hey, Richard, I fucking hope so. I fucking hope so. I don't want to see this fight go into the Middle East. I just don't. I want 90,000 screaming drunk Brits in there. I want all the UK media being able to go. I want everybody to feel comfortable, and I want the country to get behind this event the way they should. I mean, besides the Olympics, what other event is as big as this? And I don't want them to come back on the rematch. I want them to do it first. Do the fight first in Wembley. The first fight in Wembley. Then if you want to go and fucking get as much money as you can, do the rematch in fucking the Middle East. I don't care. But fucking do the fight in Wembley. Richard, I'm an American, so, all it's going to do is make me watch the fight at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, because I'm on the East Coast in the United States. But I don't give a shit. Like I said, I'll watch it at 1 p.m. I'll watch it at midnight. I'll watch it a day later. I don't give a shit. But as we see when we look around the internet, we're seeing all these people say that this fight is not going to happen. Why isn't it not announced? Why isn't it being announced? Richard Midson, if that was the case, why has Wilder been trying to make fights and price himself out? Well, exactly. And not only has Wilder been trying to make fights, but I heard that the Martin fight fell through, and now we're hearing reports if Andy Ruiz gets through Areola, that him and Ruiz is going to fight. So, yeah, I'm with you 100%. I just don't. I mean, it would just put a smile on my face if they just announced the fight. Even if they don't have a venue. Just announce a fight. Show up. Everybody do their own press conferences and be like, yeah, the fight is signed as long as we have both parties agree to the destination, the location. That's what we need. We just need an announcement. We just need an announcement because if you're like myself, I'm getting a little bit nervous. And then, I don't know, Richard, I don't know if you saw the interview with Alex Povetkin's manager. According to him, he said that Usyk and Joyce is being held up because they're waiting on hearing about Fury and AJ fight, and they can't move forward until that fight is announced. Yeah, it's going to be massive. It's going to be stupid. It's going to be the biggest event in, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 years. But we saw that interview with Alexander Usyk's manager, and he said, hey, we don't like where we stand. We understand that AJ and Fury are in talks, but we can't go forward with talks with Joe Joyce. I will love it the same. You're right. But, and it's just getting held up all the way around. So, for the sport of boxing, if we can just be like, you know what? Even if we don't have a venue yet, even if we are waiting on Wembley, just say fuck it. The fight has been signed. Nothing else can happen until this fight happens. That's what we need. And once that happens, then you can get Alexander Usyk versus Joe Joyce, which is a huge fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything will start to tumble. Everything will start to roll once that fight's announced. Because there's other fights out there that are waiting to be announced, but they just don't want to announce it, fearing that they're going to land on Fury and Joshua's date. How many fights are just waiting to see what happens with them? Yeah, we got a fight, a big fight, but we're thinking it's going to be in June, but we don't really want to announce it yet because we want to see what date Fury and Joshua land on. You know, everybody already knows that Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo's landing on May 8th. So that ties up the couple of weeks right there. And then you got the couple of weeks, supposedly, rumored has it, at the end of June with AJ and Fury. So not only does this have an importance with boxing in general, with AJ and Fury in general, but this has importance for the whole boxing community. Because they got to know when they can put on their fights. But yeah, man, I've seen videos, some people thinking that Fury and Wilder are still in court. 2 weeks ago, we heard Bob Arum say, for one, we're not in court. For two, the mediation has been over for 2-3 weeks now. It's probably been a month now. Last time I heard about it was over the holidays. Christmas and New Year, they were going to try to figure it out. We haven't heard anything since. We've heard about Wilder trying to make other fights. We've heard that the AJ and Fury talks are going good. So in my eyes, that mediation is over. I don't know what you guys think, but then we got some other fools that are saying that if AJ and Fury were to happen, then they would have to pay Wilder $40 million. $40 million. Where in the hell do they get these numbers from? $40 million. Even if Fury and Wilder had the third fight, Wilder was only going to get 40% of that. So he's looking at roughly around $15 million. So how the hell do you go from $15 million to $40 million? It just doesn't make sense. Rich admits maybe they're trying to get Joyce and Usyk on the same card, and that's the whole Richard, I doubt it. I doubt it because each one of these fights could be their own pay-per-view. You know damn well that Joyce and Usyk is huge in the UK, so they could be their own pay-per-view. And we both know that, well, as far as I know, Usyk is Matchroom and K2, and Joyce is BT. So, I don't think, and we all know that Fury and AJ is going to be joint promotion. Joint networks, BT and Sky. So I don't think they would waste the product on two split networks on the same night. I just don't see it happening. But you know what I can see happening? I can see happening either Eddie Hearn and Frank going to one another, going, hey, let's just an example. Say I'm Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn goes to Frank and goes, hey, Frank, you know what? We'll give you Joyce and Usyk. You guys can show that on BT Sport. But how about we want another big fight from Frank, and they get shown on Sky Sports. I don't know what that would be. I would say Yard and who's that big guy that they were trying to get Yard to fight for a while until Yard lost? Okoli. Yard and Lawrence Okoli. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. But you know what I'm saying. Sky gets one big fight. Say say the Joyce Usyk fight, and then BT gets another big fight. They could do something like that because I don't see Joe Joyce and Usyk being a big enough fight to do joint networks on. I just don't. But that's another fight I can't wait to see. Another fight in the UK that should be coming up that I can't wait to see is Jazora Parker. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bunch of great fights, but we all need to wait to see where the chips fall with AJ and Fury. Because if AJ and Fury goes at the end of June, no network and no boxing promoter in their right mind would put that fight anywhere near that date. They just wouldn't. Just like the reason why Top Rank moved Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez to the 22nd instead of the 8th. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor was going to be May 8th. And then DAZN comes out and announces Canelo and Billy Joe is going to be May 8th. So they had to move because you don't want to go up against that. That's a joke, buddy. Oh, I was hoping so but it would be a great thing if it was shit. It would be an awesome. Imagine that card. AJ Fury, Joyce Usyk. Come on. That'd be ridiculous. But I'm glad to hear that you were joking. That would be ridiculous. But who do you got? Joyce and Usyk. What are you thinking, Richard? I think that's a tough fight for me. But it'd definitely be a good one. But yeah, what I was getting at before was I don't know if you guys saw that interview with Alex Carouse, Usyk's manager, promoter, whatever he is, K2 Promotions. He was pretty much saying that time is of the essence and that the WBO is not going to wait forever on this Fury and Joshua announcement. Because we all know that the WBO already has mandated Joyce and Usyk. But how long is the WBO going to wait before they just said, well, you guys aren't getting anywhere, so Usyk has to fight Joshua? That's one of the narratives I heard today. So is Eddie Hearn and Queensberry and everybody tied up with the AJ Fury fight? Do they really believe that they got 3 weeks to announce the fight? Because that's what Alex said from K2 Promotions, Usyk's promoter / manager. He said that if this fight is not announced in 3 weeks' time, then the WBO should mandate Usyk versus Joshua, what the initial plan was. But AJ Fury is so big that if it did take 3 weeks, which it better fucking not, I better not be sitting here 3 weeks from now scratching my head going, why isn't this fight being announced? And having to listen to all these other bonehead channels talking about, yep, Wilder still runs the division. Everybody's waiting on Wilder. Get the fuck out of here. But according to Usyk's manager, he said, I don't know, roughly 3 weeks, the fight needs to be announced. If not, WBO is going to say, you know what? Fury and Joshua are not getting anywhere, so Joshua, you have to fight Usyk. And that's another great fight. I'm not opposed to any of these fights. But number one on the list, the obvious list, is obvious AJ Fury. Everybody knows the sport of boxing moves the way the heavyweight division moves. Now, in order to kickstart, to jumpstart, to show everybody that boxing is still prevalent, that boxing is still a top-notch sport, we got to see Fury and Joshua, and we got to see it as soon as possible. At least announced. Give us the announcement, Eddie Hearn. Come on. I'm a DAZN guy. I'm a UK boxing guy in America. Just give me the announcement. That's all I need. Richard Midson, I think it's a great fight, and I want to see it, of course. I would love to see Joyce win, and I really think Fury will finish AJ 100%. Wow, 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 wow. First off, we'll start with Joyce and Usyk. You'd love to see Joyce win. Wow. Joyce is a good guy, man. Joyce is a real good guy, and he's got. I tell all my buddies that are not real huge fans like I am. I tell all my buddies Joe Joyce probably has the best chin in boxing. I mean, it's ridiculous. He gets hit by some of punches that I've seen him get hit by, and it's almost like he treats it like a fly landed on him. He just brushes it off and keeps going forward. I mean, he's a juggernaut. He's not the prettiest fighter. He's not the slickest. He ain't going to earn no style points. He's not the fastest. But the juggernaut is a perfect nickname for him. Takes a beating and he keeps coming forward. And he puts a beating on you. I mean, everybody saw what he did to Daniel Dubois. I was stunned when I was watching that fight. Absolutely stunned. I was so amazed how Joe Joyce just made Daniel Dubois fight his fight. It was almost like Daniel Dubois he ran out of ideas after 1 minute of the first round. He didn't know what to do. It was absolutely insane. Just jabbed his nut right off. Right off. Dubois couldn't do nothing. He hit Joyce and he sat there. That's it. And I always wonder, what the hell happened to the side of Joyce's face? Where he got that big scar around his eye? I never realized that. I never read up on that or looked it up, but maybe one of y'all could tell me. If you're not here, then maybe in the comments. I mean, Joe Joyce got like a weird scar around his eye, and I never understood what that was. But yeah, Joe Joyce versus Usyk. I mean, we saw him fight in what is that called? World Series of Boxing. World Boxing Super Series. One of them. And Usyk tried to dance around Joyce. Well, now we got Usyk with more poundage. We got Joe Joyce with more experience. And that fight that they fought in the WBS, or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. I'm going to say the minor leagues of pro boxing. It was still a good fight. I think Usyk did deserve that win, but if that fight happens today, I think eventually Joe Joyce catches up with him in the later rounds. Just like he did to Daniel Dubois. The accumulation of punishment would just might be too much for him. Because now I think that Usyk has put on, I don't know, an extra 15, 20 pounds. He's not as fleet-footed. We saw what Usyk looked like when he fought Chisora. He didn't look the greatest. At times, you could say Chisora was getting to him. And so I think Joe Joyce would end up winning that fight. But it's a great fucking fight. I want to see it. I would like to see it. And then Fury will finish AJ. That's what Richard Midson just said. Well, I don't think Fury will finish him. I think. Oh, that's tough, man. That's tough. AJ and Fury fight. I'm rooting for Fury. Just because I like his story. Usually this is not the case with AJ and Fury, but usually if I don't have a dog in the race when it comes down to boxing, I find myself rooting for the underdogs. Like if it's two fighters that I know and I respect and I like watching, but I'm not like a hardcore fan, then I usually find myself rooting for the underdog. I'm not saying that that's the case in this fight because I am a Fury fan. But I think that I think Fury is going to approach AJ in a similar way, not exactly, in a similar way to how he fought Klitschko. But I also think that if Fury fights AJ similar to the way he fought Klitschko for the first 6, 7, 8 rounds, and if Fury starts feeling comfortable, then I think he will switch into Killer Be Kilt mode, the Kronk style, Sugar Hill Stewart mode, and like rounds 8, 9, 10, and then the championship rounds, he'll start pressing the gap, pushing his foot on the gas and start moving forward and trying to get him out of there to prove a point. But I think that first half of the fight is going to be more like the Klitschko. The Klitschko Fury, not the Deontay Wilder Fury. I think it's going to be a tale of two halves of the fight. First half, second half. Richard Midson, Daniel should never have been there in the first place. Buddy, Joyce did what he had to do and has put himself in a fantastic position if he beats Usyk. Well, not only did he put him, if he were to win that fight, the rumor has it that after Fury and AJ fight the first time, that WBO belt is going to be dropped for the rematch, because we all know that there's going to be a rematch clause, and the reports are that first fight with AJ and Fury is 50-50, and the rematch is going to be 60-40. But after that first fight, they're both going to be locked into a rematch no matter who wins, so that WBO will have to be relinquished. So pretty much everybody's saying Joe Joyce versus Usyk is interim. Yeah, it is, but we all know that the winner of that fight will become the WBO full champion. Without a doubt. But that won't do nothing for the fans. That won't do nothing at all for the fans. All that's going to do is Usyk, Joyce, whoever wins that fight, all it's going to do is give them a pay raise. Because once Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury relinquish that belt after the first fight, everybody's still going to consider them, whoever won that fight, as the champion. No matter how many belts get relinquished, it won't matter. It won't matter at all. So, say AJ wins that first fight. The rematch will be for 3 belts, not 4 belts. The WBO will get relinquished to the winner or soon-to-be winner of Joyce and Usyk. And like I said, for the fans, it won't mean nothing. But to the winner of that fight, it's going to mean a pay raise. Because I think, I'm assuming in their contracts, they get a bump in pay if they become champion. While there's a lull in the action and a couple of viewers jumped off, I am going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back in a couple seconds. Don't go nowhere. Sorry about that, guys. Had to take a quick break. When I do live streams, it's tough because I have to use the restroom an awful lot. Thanks to those little guys. But yeah, back at it. Talking about Fury Joshua and the fact that I am getting impatient. I just want to see the fight happen. Well, first, I just want to see the fight announced. And I also would like to see a real boxing journalist go out there and get the story. And I know with court cases or mediation, because it didn't even go to court yet, most of the time there's a gag order, so you really can't say much anyway. But I would love for someone to talk to Fury, to talk to someone in Wilder's camp, Shelly Finkel. I mean, it's amazing that we haven't heard from any of these people. All over the boxing news, we got Fury and AJ, and all the promoters and all the managers involved saying, "Yep, we're close to this fight. You know, this fight's pretty much done. We're just waiting on a location and date." Well, if Wilder had such a big court case, why hasn't Shelly Finkel said anything? Why hasn't anybody even talked to Shelly Finkel? Why isn't Wilder saying anything? I mean, the other day I was watching one of the new media channels. I forget the dude's name, but I like him. I was just on him on his channel tonight. But the other day he had an interview with Aski, a guy who's in Fury's camp. I believe he looks Middle Eastern, but he's the guy that does the prayers with Tyson Fury, and he does them in Arabic, I believe it is. I really don't know much about religion, but I would say Arabic, Muslim. He does the prayers with Tyson Fury before the fights, and he does it in his language, whatever that language is. I'm sorry for being ignorant. I just don't know. I honestly don't know. I would assume the language is Arabic, and I'm assuming the religion is Muslim. But I saw him on an interview the other day, and I put on the live chat, "Hey, ask him about the court case." And he blatantly said, "Hey, there was no court case. It was just mediation, and pretty much we're assuming it's over. It's done and over with." We heard Bob Arum say 3 weeks ago now, that's over with. All that mediation crap was happening over the holidays. It's over with. People moved on. And I tend to believe it because, like I said, with all these negotiations going on with Fury and AJ, and it seems like the public narrative is that the negotiations are going great. We're just waiting on a venue and date. Contracts have been sent back and forth. Wouldn't you think that someone from Wilder's team would pop up and say, "Hey, idiots, you guys can't have that fight because we're in a court case right now. I'm suing Fury." It hasn't happened. Why? Because I don't think they have a court case. I think it's as simple as what they laid out for us. Hey, Fury had a contract to fight Wilder for the third time. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, unfortunately, with the networks, unfortunately, with both parties, we couldn't seem to make the fight happen. The contract ran out, and now we have to go our separate ways. I think it's really that simple. But like I said, I see other channels, and they talk strictly about, yeah, the AJ and Fury fight's not happening because Fury's in court with Wilder. That's why they can't announce the fight. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense at all. How in the hell do you have that many lawyers involved with these two big main fighters, as in Fury and Joshua, and they're still trying to make this fight happen? Why would they do that? Why would they waste their time? Why wouldn't DAZN, Eddie Hearn, 258 Management just come out and be like, you know what? We tried to make a fight with Fury, but seems like Fury's in the middle of a court case. We're just going to fight our mandatory Usyk. Why wouldn't that happen? Huh? That's an honest question. Why wouldn't that happen? I'm assuming there's no dummies in Anthony Joshua's management team, 258 Management. I'm assuming that Matchroom and Sky and DAZN don't have a bunch of dummies as lawyers. I mean, wouldn't you just say, hey, we tried to make the fight with Fury, we couldn't because he's in a lawsuit, so we're going to fight our mandatory. I would think that. And it's not that hard to say. Even if there is a gag order on that whole lawsuit, if there was one, or mediation, or arbitration, or whatever the hell they want to call it, even if there was a gag order on something like that, it wouldn't stop them from at least saying that, hey, we tried to make the fight, but we found out that there's a current legal issue with Fury. We can't make the fight right now. We're going to move on and fight Usyk. That's so simple. But that hasn't happened. Shelly Finkel, where are you? Deontay Wilder, where are you? Jay Diaz, he's supposed to be a manager. Manager/trainer. So I'm assuming you got some info on the management of your client, Deontay Wilder. Where are you? Where's your side? By the looks of it, just like you did last time, you're going to disappear for 8 months and then jump out of the woodwork. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And me being a fan of the sport, by announcing AJ Fury, it just allows for the fact that the whole of boxing can move on. One way or the other. Whether AJ and Fury fight or whether they don't. Because I'm assuming there's other fights out there that are waiting to be announced. They are waiting to be announced because they do not want to clash dates with the biggest fight in the last 30, 40, 50 years. But I loaded up a video that I wanted to show you guys that just it spawned these thoughts that I'm telling you, these ideas about the fight happening and the possibility of it happening in Wembley. Uh, like I said, Bob Arum and Joshua are the only ones that seem to say or mention the fight taking place at Wembley. And it seems like Eddie Hearn is steadfast on the Middle East. My top choices would be Wembley number one, even though I'm an American, and then Vegas number two, and then the Middle East. That's what I'm thinking. But let me play you this short video with Anthony Joshua, and it's just a quick minute clip. I mean, the whole interview is roughly around 7 minutes, but he does. I don't know the choice of words that he says. Something about waiting for the UK to open back up. So let me play this interview real quick and tell me what you guys think.
This, everyone's going to laugh at me and call me a nerd. The last fight with Pulev, bad boy. So sick. So sick. What's I saw on your Instagram as well, you said that you're going to have some news coming fairly soon. Yes. You're going to meet with 258. I know you can't reveal anything now, but come on, tell me, there's got to be some good news coming soon, right?
Things are progressing. I wanted to get the initial part of the contract signed to say we're agreeing to fight. We're happy to go ahead. There's nothing getting in the way. All the little nitty-gritty things, we put that aside, and it's just now, let's go and find the venue, let's find a location, etc. And it's nice that in the UK, we're getting to the end of this dark tunnel.
Yeah. 100%.
So UK can be on the cards as well for having the first fight, etc. So it's a great time. I'm really looking forward to announcing this fight. So 258 management are kind of handling all the news, etc. So yeah, I just had a meeting with them the other day, and I thought it's only right to announce it to the world.
Come on. And what we saying as well, this is going to turn into a full-on boxing interview, but I'm just curious, what we saying for a Coley as well? World title shot soon?
Well,
so that's what the video that I was talking about. You notice at the end, he was saying, you know, this whole pandemic thing coming to an end, you know, maybe Wembley can be in play for the fight, which, like I said, that's my number one choice. Even being an American fan, I would love to see that, and that's what boxing needs. It does. I mean, it just does. So that's the Anthony Joshua video. I've been on with you guys for about an hour. I only had a few people pop in, but I want to say it's all good. It's all love. Whoever comes across this video, peace and love. I hope you and yours are doing wonderful at this point in time. And I want you guys to do me a favor. You know the deal. Like, subscribe, and share. This is Moore's House. I enjoyed chilling with y'all. And I'll see you soon. Peace.